My name is Tatum Zeleznik. I'm a fourth-year psychology student and research assistant in the Self and Social Motivation Lab with Dr. Jennifer Crocker. Romantic relationships are a key context in individuals' lives. However, conflict is a common occurrence in such relationships over time, which has important ramifications for relationship satisfaction and individual well-being. Intimate partner violence, or IPV, as destructive responses to romantic relationship conflict, occurs at alarming rates. Every year in the United States, 1 in 6 cohabitating or married couples experience at least one act of IPV. Negative consequences of IPV include depression, PTSD, and lowered self-esteem. IPV is characterized as a perpetrator asserting their power over the victim in order to gain greater power in the relationship. This can be through threats, emotional abuse, blaming, intimidation, isolation, economic abuse, etc., as well as physical violence. To address the problem of IPV, this study hypothesizes that non-zero-sum beliefs in adult participants in romantic relationships can decrease aggressive responses to relationship conflict, and thus serve as a way to decrease IPV perpetration. Non-zero-sum beliefs are the belief that mutually beneficial solutions for both partners to conflict are possible, and that relationships can function to find win-win solutions. This is tied to ecosystem motivation. Ecosystem motivation in relationships promotes helping others and the self, whereas ego-system motivation refers to only self-interested behavior, according to Crocker, Canvello, and Lewis. Non-zero-sum beliefs help partners view conflict as less threatening and therefore respond in a less aggressive manner. Past research has found that such beliefs do have a positive influence on relationship satisfaction, conflict resolution, and commitment, and this present study aims to expand on that into a potential reduction in IPV. We recruited 133 adults in heterosexual romantic relationships via MTurk to complete our survey. Participants were first assessed on their self-report measures of non-zero-sum beliefs and coercive control, a key aspect of IPV. An example of a non-zero-sum belief scale question, 1 being not true at all to 5 being extremely true, was, quote, "Right now in my relationship, I believe we can solve disagreement in mutually beneficial ways." An example of a coercive control scale question, 1 being never and 5 being always, was, quote, "I am jealous or possessive." Participants then listened to a conflict scenario using the articulated thoughts in simulated situations, or ATSS procedure, imagining themselves in the scenario with their partner, and then reported their reactions to the audio scenario. Participant responses were coded by 4 research assistant coders using the ATSS manual on dimensions of anger, verbal aggression, physical aggression, desire to control, and belittling. Participants also completed a self-report measure on aggressive responses to the scenario. The results supported our hypotheses as indicated by the correlation table. Non-zero-sum beliefs were significantly negatively associated with aggressive responses, coercive control, anger, verbal aggression, desire to control, and belittling. Essentially, when participants had high non-zero-sum beliefs, they were less likely to engage in aggressive responses toward their partner in both the coded scenario and the self-report measures. Physical aggression was the only dimension not significantly associated with non-zero-sum beliefs, likely due to the lack of ATSS coded data from participant responses on that dimension. Thus, this study supports the notion that non-zero-sum beliefs are significant in their ability to decrease aggression and potentially IPV in romantic relationships. Overall, these results contribute to the research on IPV and how its negative effects can be counteracted by non-zero-sum beliefs to strengthen romantic relationships, individual well-being, and safety. The next steps include running a study that implements an intervention video to promote non-zero-sum beliefs in participants. The intervention's purpose is to potentially alter how people respond to conflict in their relationships through fostering such beliefs directly in participants rather than using a self-report measure, and examining the effect on aggressive responses and acts of IPV. Thank you for listening to my presentation and my research.